The app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-8877. 800-885-8877. Again, that's 800-885-8877.
A height requirement at the Super Bowl? CBS's Deborah Rodriguez explains.
Hoping to make it onto the field at Super Bowl halftime? You may not measure up. Some Bad Bunny fans are stunned over screenshots of a field application making the rounds on TikTok that shows a height requirement of between 5'7" and 6 feet for anyone who wants to volunteer to fill the field at Levi's Stadium during this year's halftime performance. Fans must also have the ability to wear full body costumes that weigh up to 40 pounds, be okay in a crowd, and stand and walk for extended periods of time. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
The Gates Foundation plans to spend a record $9 billion this year focusing on global health and other key areas. It also aims to reduce staff by up to 500 positions over 5 years. This follows last year's decision to close the foundation by 2045. Jennifer Kuiper.
The local district and statewide news is being brought to you by Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, striving harder to get you farther. For more information, call 724-628-RIDE. And now to the news.
And a very good evening. It is 6:05 and 40 degrees outside of our Davis & Davis studios on this Wednesday. Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, voted Fayette County's best law firm 2025. Your local station, WMBS, some rain in the region, 40 degrees. More on the Weather Watch and sports in just a bit. Scams targeting utility customers are on the rise throughout Pennsylvania. State Attorney General Dave Sunday says fake utility websites are appearing in Google searches, luring customers into a scam. When a customer clicks on the website, scammers pretending to be employees make claims about past due payments, trying to scare people into turning over personal information or money. Another version of the scam involves fake phone numbers that customers use for payments, which the Attorney General's office gives scammers another way to get sensitive information. To avoid fake websites and phone numbers, Sunday said to look at your utility bill, and the website and customer service number will be listed there. Instead of attempting to use a search engine, type the utility company's website into your web browser and call the customer service number directly. Work is ongoing on a new pedestrian bridge in Brownsville, where contractors are finishing the cement walkway adjacent to the historic cast iron bridge over Dunlap Creek. The older Market Street Bridge, a $9 million preservation project, has been closed down since November 2024 and is expected to reopen by June. The cast iron bridge, built in 1839, was the first ever cast iron metal arch bridge in the United States. Pennsylvania Senator Dave McCormick believes a woman who was shot and killed by an ICE officer acted inappropriately. McCormick said the deadly shooting of Renee Good in Minneapolis last week was a tragedy, but the mother of three made the officer feel his life was at risk. The shooting sparked multiple anti-ICE protests around the nation and also one in Fayette County this weekend. McCormick said ICE officers in the communities are enforcing a law and they should be respected and supported. Greensburg is soon beginning a new Sheetz convenience store and gas station. Greensburg Council this week approved of plans for a Sheetz to be built in the area of east of Pittsburgh Street and Humphrey Road. Due to public concern, speed bumps and stop signs will be added in the area. Voting is now underway to once again name the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh as one of the best museums in the nation. For the last 3 years, the museum has been ranked as the second best museum by USA Today's 10 Best Readers' Choice Awards. Voting is open through February 9th at 10best, the number 10best.usatoday.com. And there's very encouraging news for cancer patients.
According to the American Cancer Society's annual report on cancer facts and trends, 7 in 10 people now survive their cancer 5 years or more, up from only half in the mid-70s. The lead author of the report states the stunning victory largely the result of decades of cancer research that provided clinicians with the tools to treat the disease more effectively, turning many cancers from a death sentence into a chronic disease. Stats show for the first time that 5-year survival rate for all cancers combined reached 70% for people diagnosed during 2015 to 2021 in the U.S. I'm Jennifer Bolsoni.
More next on WMPS.
Take the fact.
Need to get to work? Run errands? See a doctor? Fact connects Fayette County. Ride our convenient routes through Uniontown, Connellsville, Brownsville, even to Pittsburgh. Seniors 65 and older ride free on fixed routes. People with disabilities get big savings, and Medicaid recipients can ride to medical appointments at no cost through our shared ride and paratransit services. Find out if you qualify today. Call 724-628-RIDE or visit factbus.com. Fact, your ride, your independence.
And in sports, the Steelers reportedly want to interview 3 people for their head coaching vacancy. National outlets report the team requested interviews with the Rams of passing game coordinator Nate Scheelhaase and defensive coordinator Chris Shula. Also, Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for Minnesota. Flores worked on the Steelers staff in 2022. We have Pitt basketball tonight. Pitt taking on Georgia Tech down in Atlanta. That game starts at 7 this evening on WMPS. Now the weather watch for all of southwest Pennsylvania. Right now, rain and 40 degrees overnight, low down to 19 tonight, only going up to 21 tomorrow, the low in the evening at 16. For the weekend, chance of flurries Friday at 37. Some snow likely Saturday, 38, the high, low at 16. Only up to 20 on Sunday with clouds and sun. Overnight low at 15, 25 on Monday, but bitterly cold in the evening, down to 5 above for the low Monday. Wind chills could be near 0 and only up to 17 for Tuesday, with winter setting in as we head towards the middle stretch, really the later stages of January by next week. Right now we have some rain and 40 degrees at 6:10 on this Wednesday evening. And good evening from the Davis & Davis studios in Uniontown at WMBS. I'm Nick Barczyk. On the way next, we talk with Steve Blass and Bob Grove this hour, and then Pitt basketball at 7. That's next on the Afternoon Drive Show with Doug Saltzman on WMBS. Good evening.
The local, district, and statewide news has been a service of Fact, Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, striving harder to get you farther. Phone 724-628-RIDE for routes, rates, and schedules. 724-628-RIDE for Fact.
Voted best in Fayette auto service and tires, Tireman's Auto Garage is the place to go for used tires. Worried about your tires passing state inspection or winter driving? Tireman's Auto Garage has used tires, just $25 per tire, mounted and balanced to meet state inspection requirements. Whatever your tire needs, new or used, the cheapest prices and the best service are at Tireman's Auto Garage, with ACIMA leasing and SNAP financing available. Fully licensed and insured, Tireman's also offers tire recycling service. Top automotive specialists, Tireman's services include diagnostic service, alignments, oil changes, state inspections, batteries, brakes, rotors, and more. Driven by Tireman's Auto Garage lately? You've probably seen the 2, 4, and 6-seater golf carts that are for sale, with ACIMA leasing available, or ask Joe and Kim about rentals. Tireman's Auto Garage, Mill Street, with $25 used tire specials, new tires, golf carts, and more. Call 724-425-9606.
Happy New Year! Go to Ford of Uniontown and trade me in.
John Clayton with Dominic Carbone from your 7-time President Award-winning Ford of Uniontown. Dominic, Happy New Year to you.
Hey, JC, to you as well. Let me tell you how we are going to get this new year started off right. Take up to $6,000 off MSRP on 2025 F-150 SCX and take up to $4,000 off MSRP on 2026 Explorer.
Dang, Dom, that's a deal. Listen, we have great offers on all of our new models. And check this out, leasing is back. Lease offers have gotten significantly better, so stop, click, or call to get all of the details.
Pre-owned, you know we got them. We have over 60 in stock. Most are certified with factory warranty and competitive rates.
We are continuing to offer mobile service, online maintenance appointments, and our very popular pickup and delivery option. Your car knows, shouldn't you? That's Ford of Uniontown on the hill across from Applebee's, or check us out at FordofUniontown.com. Offers include all applicable incentives. Sale ends February 2nd.
Yeah, they're the people I trust. It's the place I go. Home, warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
Planning on some home improvement projects in 2026? Stop in Home Warehouse on Connellsville Street, again voted a Best in Fayette place for windows and home improvements for the past 3 years. Home Warehouse is your one-stop shop for all your home exterior needs. There are beautiful windows, doors, and storm doors that will update your home, keep out drafts, and save on energy. Plus, roofing shingles, metal and commercial rubber roofing, siding, soffit and fascia, railing, as well as flooring, home and gun safes, and dog food too. So for great prices and hometown service, stop in and see Sandy and Donnie at Home Warehouse. Open Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30, Saturday 8 to 12 noon.
Home Warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
Are you considering a project design and don't know where to start? K2 Engineering offers a wide range of professional civil, architectural, and municipal services to meet your individual project needs. Our versatility combined with our personalized approach is what sets us apart as a full-service engineering and consultation firm. To learn more about our services, please visit us on the web at www.k2engineering.net. K2 Engineering, where customer service is our priority.
Pizza King's in Connellsville is your go-to lunch and dinner spot with a full menu of mouth-watering pizzas and so much more. Using a deck oven helps our pizzas stay extra crisp, so if you haven't tried a slice lately, what are you waiting for? From our 50-slice King Carnivore to veggie pizzas and even pickle pizzas, Pizza King has the pie to match your taste. Pizza King's, 1046 Morrell Avenue in Connellsville. Call 724-626-8343 or visit pizzakingswithaz.com.
Oh, if you could only hear what's being said in the studio when the microphones aren't on. We are always on Facebook Live, and make sure you check that out. Go to WMBS 590 on Facebook.
But that's the best show, by the way, the off-air conversation. If only we could air that.
Yeah, we could air that. We'd have to get on to like a...
serious after Stern,
because we're never very serious.
Absolutely not. No.
Is Stern still on? I don't follow this stuff.
Like one day a week, I think, or when he feels like it, when he wakes up and feels like it. Which at this point in his career, he's earned that.
Yeah, and I like when people say, "Oh, he's gotten so soft." Well, you can't forever be as dirty.
Yes, and of course he grew up. He's in his 60s now. Of course, he's not going to be as wild as he was in his 20s, 30s, and even 40s. I mean, what do you want him to still be hitting strippers on the backside with a fish? I mean, he's not 30 years old anymore.
Right, but he's got to be in his 70s by now.
Maybe 70. Yeah,
me,
exactly. Yeah. He's old. I mean, what do you want him to do?
So, yeah, and although it went against everything in his being when he was a judge on one of those shows. What show?
Yeah, America's Got Talent.
Is that what it was? Yeah, that was. That was okay. I'll just grab the money.
That's it. And he made nice with NBC. NBC Radio fired him, and he figured I'd go on NBC TV years later and be a hokey judge.
NBC.
That's it. Very good. The Peacock.
He was required. I guess I shouldn't say that on a CBS affiliate.
I think they understand.
Yeah, and because he was required when he went on that NBC affiliate he couldn't just say this is NBC. He had to say NBC.
That's right. WNBC. Which again, I'm sure our CBS affiliate hates me saying that now. I'm sure they're fine. They're still sending letters to Nikki Glazer.
Lights are going off in New York right now.
Yeah, compared to what Nikki Glazer said about CBS, that's I'm sure what they're more upset by. But that was funny. Good for her.
Yeah, and they knew it was coming.
Of course. It was obvious, and after Tony DeCopel's first night, I don't know if you saw that, yelling at his producer on the air. Oh. Yeah, so between that and just the general state of media and the news, that was coming.
Big changes for CBS moving over to Infinity.
That's it.
And we took care of that well in advance, but I guess not all stations did.
No, and the news has been smooth as silk ever since they moved over.
And there are over 700 CBS affiliate stations.
Is that right? Wow, that's awesome. It's a big number.
And big changes at CBS. We won't be doing as many what we call two-way interviews with CBS analysts and reporters as we used to. But that's all part of this. And in case people start wondering, I actually did get an email saying you didn't interview anybody yesterday or today from CBS.
Wow.
And
how about that? Your listeners really, they listen. They pay attention.
There are changes coming, and that's at radiosaltzman@gmail.com. Feel free to send me an email anytime you want on that. I read them all, as they say.
That's it. Yeah, big changes. The days of William S. Paley and Walter Cronkite are over, I guess.
Different. Yeah, I don't think Cronkite's going to be on. And
No.
and I can honestly say right now, I don't know who the name of the CBS nightly news anchor
I just told you, Tony Tocopel.
Oh, the one who yelled at us.
He yelled at his producer on air. But not that that's a criticism, just reporting.
Yeah, we had that here when, again, my mean names are
Nora O'Donnell.
Nora O'Donnell used to do the 5 o'clock CBS radio news.
Right.
And at one point screamed over the air, "Where's my script?"
That's it.
Which is something.
She couldn't ad lib.
Yeah, she should probably had in her hands before she sat down.
I would think, yeah.
And she didn't last very long.
No, she did not.
Yeah.
But, stuff like that happens, and, time for a change, I guess.
The days of people, and of course the CBS News, ABC, NBC, when that was where you got your news.
That's right. And nightly news, Dave or Doug, what day is this? What
Greg.
host are you?
Greg.
Yeah, Doug. I mean, not every organization, like CBS News is not like the Steelers. They don't have the same anchor for 19 years like the Steelers have with coaches. No, I joke.
Although, how long was Cronkite around?
Oh, my God, forever.
Forever. If you ever
like
have a
Carson
chance.
on The Tonight Show.
This is not exactly Oprah's book club, but if you ever have a chance to read Walter Cronkite's autobiography.
Yeah, it is brilliant.
Absolutely amazing. Considering, he was a correspondent in World War II.
Right.
And was on a plane. And, of course, it's not the role of a correspondent to fight the enemy.
No.
But at one point, he was on a plane they were being shot at.
Yes.
And he manned a gun because he figured if I get shot down, I can't report the news.
That's right. He was a legend. One of the Murrow boys, right? Edward R. Murrow, the real legend
amazing.
of CBS radio.
And they think about something like WCBS at this point in New York doesn't exist anymore.
That's amazing.
They've sold out, and they're renting the signal to ESPN. And it's owned by Odyssey, which is a national company. We're not. We're family owned. We're chugging away, and we just don't do this for fun. We're making money here at WMBS. So, to think that WCBS in New York does not exist anymore as a news station tells you something about corporate ownership of radio. But that's a little editorial comment. Coming up here, we're going to talk Penguin hockey with Bob Grove. The latest, the Penguins, they had a terrible losing streak. Then suddenly they had a pretty good winning streak, but now they're on a losing streak again. Ups and downs, so we'll have a conversation with him. Then Steve Blass is going to join us. No doubt you heard in the news that former Pirates reliever Dave Justy has passed away. Spent 15 years in the majors, helped the Pirates win the 1971 World Series. He died at age 86. The club, citing Justy's family, the club being the Pirates, of course, said that he died on Sunday. The right-hander, how about this? Dave Justy went 193 with a 3.60 ERA in 668 career appearances for 5 clubs from 62 to 77. This is a report, by the way, I'm reading from the Associated Press. He began his career as a starter in Houston, but had his greatest success with the Pirates, who acquired him from St. Louis in 1969 and moved him full-time to the bullpen. Led the National League with saves in 71, and then he added 10 2/3 scoreless innings in the playoffs as the Pirates beat the Giants in the National League Championship Series, and of course Baltimore 7 games in the World Series, and he appeared in the All-Star Game in 1973. He played 7 seasons for the Pirates and got 133 saves. So we'll be talking about Dave Justy coming up after the bottom of the hour with Pirate for Life, Steve Blass. But joining us right now on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line, Penguin and NHL analyst and historian Bob Grove. Bob, thanks for joining us. Penguins lately up and down, a losing streak, a 5-game home losing streak. I don't know if that's ever happened since the 70s. But then they went on a win streak, and now they're back on a losing streak. It's kind of a crazy up and down season.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of that, Doug. It's great to be on with you as always. Recently it's been, look, they've lost the last 3 games, but I mean, their problem right now is they can't score. I mean, in these last 3 losses, they've scored only 2 goals. Gino scored 1 and set the other one up. Sid's gone 3 games in a row without a point for the first time this season. So if you look at it, it's really kind of simple. Let's simplify it. Like this losing streak, that's the issue because they played really hard against a Tampa team that could very easily go to the Stanley Cup final. They're that good. And they went on the 6-game win streak. They were scoring 4 goals a night, and getting it done that way. So that's been the biggest difference in the latest, turn in their fortunes. But yeah, it's been a little bit up and down this season. You sort of expect that. They've had a lot of new faces and that they're trying to work into the lineup and a new coach. So there's a lot of room you have to give them in the first, I think, half of the season to sort of figure some of that stuff out. And now on top of this all, they've lost Erik Karlsson for at least a couple of weeks, and that's a big blow.
Yeah, and the Penguins recently an extension with the Blake Lizotte. What does he bring to the table, and why was that extension signed, do you think?
Yeah, I love that signing. This guy, I mean, his first season with the Penguins was last season, and it was really kind of ruined by injuries. And I don't think anybody really could fully get a look at what he could mean to the team playing down on that fourth line with Dewar and Achari. I mean, this guy just, he kills it every night. I mean, you watch him play. He plays with a ton of energy, a ton of effort. He's not the greatest guy with the puck. He's not going to get you a ton of points, but he's going to give you every single game and every single shift a lot of speed. He'll hit people. He'll get in the way. He'll go to the net. He's really hard on pucks along the wall. He competes like crazy. And the Penguins just don't have a lot of guys like that. So, I mean, I love this signing to lock him up for multiple years and keep him, because every hockey team needs guys like this, and he's been terrific. And he got hurt again a little bit this year, but not like last year. But it's good to see him in the lineup every night and helping to make a difference for them, because that fourth line with Dewar and Achari, if you look at where the Penguins are, no, they're not in the playoffs right now, but I don't know where this team would be without them when they've been together. I mean, Achari got hurt for a little while too, but when Charlie and Lizotte have been healthy and playing with Dewar, that line has been a really positive factor.
You mentioned a moment ago there's trouble lately trying to score goals, 2 goals in 3 games. Now, that Boston game, they fought 6 power plays, killed them off, and gave up 1 shot in 6 power plays. And that's one of those Bob Grove stats I'm sure you could find for us. I don't know how often that happens. But there is an example, and not that they didn't have chances. They outshot the Bruins, but just could not put the puck in the goal. Obviously, the bigger issue is, this goes without saying, people will laugh at me saying this, is scoring goals. But they were putting shots on goal. They were hitting the post. They were putting it on there. They just weren't going in. Is it at least a relief that they've outshot a team, even though they lost 1-0?
Well, you look at that, and I mean, the Penguins have been until the game against Tampa, they had been out shooting, I think, 7 or 8 opponents in a row. I mean, they've been getting lots of chances, and for most of the season, Doug, the Penguins have been among the best teams in terms of number of chances they're creating in and around the net. But one of the problems they've had, and this has really been going on now for 2 or 3 seasons, is they don't convert the percentage of those that you would really expect. So it really hasn't been an issue for the Penguins most of the time of inability to create chances. It's the inability to finish chances. And some of that, look, you're in the National Hockey League, and Korpisalo was good the other night in Boston, and sometimes you're just going to get beat by a better goalie, and Vasilevsky was fantastic last night. He gave up on Gino, but I mean, he just wasn't. He did look like a night when he wasn't going to give you anything. The Penguins just have to convert more of their chances, and that's why, if you really, for me, when you look at where they are, we're just past the halfway point of the season now. You really have to give a lot of attention to their special teams, and when we're talking about scoring goals, it's the power play. Their power play right now is struggling a bit. They've gone 9 straight chances without scoring. They're still 3rd in the league, so that's not a problem. And they're going to finish high this year in the power play regardless. But we need to see 2 things. We need to see them, number one, how do they perform without Karlsson? He's not a guy that scores a lot of power play goals, but he's been on this power play unit that's done so well all season. And Letang, I thought, was really good last night. Letang is no stranger, obviously, to the power play, and so I think they'll be fine there. But the bigger issue for me is, while the Penguins' power play has struggled a bit and started to come down the last 10, 15 games of the season, they're not getting goals from Sid and Gino and Raquel and Russ. These are the guys who are all in the top power play unit. And if you look at, they're all in long power play slumps. The Penguins have been lucky; they've been getting some power play goals from Mantha, and earlier in the season, I think Brazeau chipped in a couple. Kindle, and Kindle hasn't really scored much at all in the last month and a half. They need their stars to deliver on the power play, and that'll be a big factor for them without Karlsson.
And a first-year head coach in Dan Muse, what do you make of him, Bob? And has he exceeded your expectations? His coaching style, how does it differ from Sullivan? What do you make of him in his first few months on the job?
Yeah, I didn't have really any expectations because I really didn't know much about him other than the fact that he'd been an assistant in the NHL most recently with the Rangers, and especially with sort of the penalty kill, and that's what he was in charge of there. And if you look here, the Penguins' penalty kill, as I just mentioned, has been a big part of their story this season. It's been really, really good lately. It's sitting 7th in the league right now. So, he's got a lot of attention to detail. It's interesting. I thought early on I was really taken by the way that he wanted his team to attack together and sort of support the puck as they came out of their own zone and coming through the neutral zone, and that's not something Sullivan did. Sullivan was more like either get it up to the forwards or let's do a stretch pass, tip it into the zone, and go get it on the forecheck. So that's a bit different. And I also, I look at the way the Penguins, I've never seen a Pittsburgh team that rings more pucks around the boards than these guys do under Muse. It's like that's something they love to do, to get it from one side of the rink to the other. And they do make a lot of cross ice passes when they have the ability to do that. And that's not something you saw with Sullivan as much. It was pretty much straightforward. So there's been some differences. Muse is still feeling his way. If you look at a couple of the recent games with people out of the lineup, some of the line combinations looked a little bit wonky to me, but I think generally he's done a good job. I don't think there's any question about it. The Penguins are sitting in a spot where you really wouldn't expect them to be sitting right now. They're 1 point out of a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, and you're here in the middle of January. So you have to like what Muse has done, and he's going to he'll have challenges going forward. Like I said, now without Carlson, they've had some injuries earlier this season, and Malkin and Raquel, those were big. You lose Raquel for 20 games, you lose Malkin for 15. That's tough because this team is still kind of developing its depth. It's just not quite there yet. But I think overall, Muse has done a good job.
Yeah, as that losing streak hit 7 games, I don't think a lot of people thought we'd be back within a point of the playoff hunt this quick. And Nick stole my question there about the new coach. Strange time in Pittsburgh sports. All 3 major teams are going to have new coaches within 12 months.
That's right.
I don't know if that's
right.
That's never happened in my lifetime.
Pirates manager, Steelers. Yeah, you're right, Doug.
Yeah.
Wow.
All 3 will be new. So that's a strange time for that. Maybe it happened back in the day. I don't know.
Back in the 1800s.
Yeah, maybe.
Not with the
perhaps.
Penguins. But
Penguins, 1917 when they started.
There you go.
As we talk with Bob Grove, Penguins and NHL analyst and historian. As you mentioned, as we move forward now, halfway through the season, the team seems comfortable with the coach. You don't hear about dissension. You don't hear about that sort of thing. That can happen sometimes with a new coach. But he seems to just be doing his job as opposed to trying to get quoted. Does that make sense?
No, I think that's right. I think that's absolutely right. One of the biggest differences between this Pittsburgh team and last season's is the play of Erik Karlsson. And there's nothing to put it down to other than the coaching change. For whatever reason, Karlsson's first 2 seasons in Pittsburgh were really, we'd be being a little bit generous if we said it was a mixed bag. Yeah, you had some good games, but you had a lot of bad games and a lot of things that the optics on the way he was playing just didn't look right. He's like a completely new player this year for the Penguins. He's made a positive difference in most of the games. He's been outstanding. And you have to give Muse credit for that. One of the things he did is he used him on the penalty kill, which was not something he was doing under Sullivan. And that seems to have really helped his game, Karlsson's game. And the other guys, like I said, the new guys that were coming in, we're talking about Brazeau and Mantha, and whether it's McGroarty, who's hurt now, or Kindle. I think they've all sort of responded. I think the way he's used Kindle's been good. The kid's, he's kind of hit a wall, which happens to a lot of rookies, and the Penguins are trying to help him through it. And I think he's got a lot of raw talent. And the question for Muse is going to be how do they finish the season, and then how do they build on this next year if Dubas continues to do the moves he's making, make sure he's got the right kind of players, and they're in the process of getting this team back toward the top.
And as we look towards next month, Bob, we're going to the Olympics. The Penguins will have a long break, but specifically on the Olympics, I'm sure you're following this and are fascinated. I hear there's some rink concerns in Milan Cortina. What do you make of Olympic hockey in general and about the tournament coming up? Is the rink safe, the ice safe? I mean, I'm sure you know more about this than most, so if you could go into that story a bit.
Oh, I can, and first of all, it's very exciting. I mean, I love watching Olympic hockey
all the
time, but I really like it when the NHL players are there, and this is the first time in 12 years that they've been there. So it's been long overdue. The players are excited to be playing, and I'm really looking forward to the competition for sure. But it's embarrassing. Look, if people aren't familiar with what's going on, the hockey rink, in Milan it's not finished.
Wow.
I mean, the women's competition starts on February 5th. The men start on February 11th. And they had a test event there over the past weekend. And, they had a lot of media there, probably most of them European media, but some North American media. And the building, they had ice problems with the first game. They had a little hole in the ice that developed, a soft spot in the ice that had to be fixed. The game had to be stopped. And I'm told that sometimes happens in new rinks. And this, brand new rink, this is the first game ever played in it, this test game they did. But the outside of the building is not done. There are openings in the buildings, and you need to control the climate inside a building, especially the humidity, to make good ice. And they don't have the building outside totally closed, the outside totally closed off. The dressing rooms, they have something like, I don't know, a dozen dressing rooms that they need. Some of them are barely started. I mean, the competition starts in 3 weeks.
That's wild.
The ice is 3 feet shorter than it was supposed to be. That was a mistake. The seating is 2,000. The capacity is 2,000 less than it was supposed to be because they didn't have time to finish it. It's an embarrassment. And the games are going to go on. The players want to play. They're going to play. I'm sure it'll work out to be fine, but it's just like how you plan so many years in advance an event like this. The practice facility, the practice rinks that the teams use, they're not completed. It's a joke to me. I tell you what, there are 32 NHL general managers. I'm telling you, they are crossing their fingers that their players all come back healthy.
Right.
And not because of what's going on. Exactly. The Olympics are interesting. And recently, they didn't have Olympic competition for one of the Olympic venues for summer. There was only one country that wanted it. It's because the cost of putting on the Olympics are just so outrageous. This isn't going to help the Winter Olympics. And other cities are going to look at this and say, oh, man, look what happened there. Do we want to encounter that?
Right.
Yeah, suddenly they're going to be they're going to have crazy situations where they have to bring in. Well, I remember back in the days, I remember being at a playoff game at the Civic Arena where they had to bring in supplementary air conditioning because it was getting too warm because that was a very old building. That was understandable.
Yeah, right.
But these are not. These are brand new. I think you're going to see temporary sheeting on the outside of this building.
Yeah.
But, you're absolutely right. Maybe they didn't know the Olympics were this year.
Yeah, maybe. They were caught off guard by the Olympics.
Oh, wait, it's 26?
Wow, is it here already? It's here in Italy, our country?
Yeah.
You would hope that they would get this things done. But every available worker would be working on this thing at this point.
But I'm sure the ice skating rink will be fine, like the figure skating.
Figure skating.
It's all about priorities.
That was done years ago.
Because that's what NBC will air ad nauseum every night.
Oh, my gosh, I have to see one more person skating that doesn't have a hockey stick in their hand. Yeah, it's a bit much. It's not my cup of tea. I like the weird sports in the Olympics.
Sure.
That's the strange
well, figure skating's for women,
Skiing
frankly.
and shooting.
Right, exactly.
That's my type of sport.
Yeah. Well, remember, figure skating's the bread and butter for TV.
Oh, my gosh. NBC will show that 90% of the time.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Hey, Bob, thanks so much. Sorry for us going off on a tangent there at the end. Nick and I tend to do that.
That's cool.
That's what we do.
But we appreciate your taking time to join us. We're going to talk to Steve Blass coming up here about Dave Justy, who I never thought got enough attention as a great reliever. Too many good players around him back in the day.
That's right. Pittsburgh sports have been too good over the years.
That's right.
People get overshadowed.
Al Oliver. How do you get to the Hall of Fame? And Clementi's on your left and Starrs was on your right back in those days. Right. But we're going to talk to Steve Blass coming up in a few moments. Hey, Bob, thanks so much. We appreciate your good lead-in for Steve.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
right.
Bob.
Always fun.
Thanks.
Enjoy. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bob Grove. Yeah, I like the weird sports in hockey.
Yeah.
Like the
Olympics,
biathlon, or when I say in the Olympics, and which, since I don't have cable, I don't see some of those weird sports.
That's right.
Yeah.
The shooting and skiing at
Yeah.
the same time.
Like
yeah.
last year, I missed out seeing the breakdancing.
Oh, that's the best. Breaking, they call it.
Oh, breaking.
Breakdancing is derogatory.
And the woman who somehow made it there and didn't know how to breakdance.
That's right.
Remember
That's
that?
an amazing story.
Yeah, a country guest can't send anybody. You actually have to qualify to be in the
Absolutely.
Olympics. It's not like
yeah.
I could suddenly say, I'm going to be on the Luxembourg speed skating team.
I mean, you've tried, but it just falls
doesn't
through.
work
There are
out.
trials for this, yes.
Exactly. Well, Steve Blass was scheduled to join us during Bob Grove's segment, but he's golfing. So he
Oh,
said, get me on
Steve.
as late as possible. So we'll start off with a question about how he hit. Remember several years ago, he had 2 holes in one round.
That's right. He's playing golf. Is he on the West Coast? If he's still playing right now?
I think he's in Florida.
Oh, I see. Well, it's dark there, too, right now, I'm sure.
Oh, you're right.
It's been dark for over an hour.
It's the same time
It's
zone.
winter. It's January.
Well, maybe he wanted to hit the steam room afterwards.
That's there you go.
It
Hey.
didn't occur to me that it is dark. I had to turn
Yeah.
around and look out the window.
Yeah, it's been dark for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Steve wasn't telling
I
us
think
the
Steve
truth.
fibbed, but
See,
he's a
Steve's
World
up to
Series
something.
hero.
I don't trust the guy. Yeah.
Steve can say what
In
he
fact,
wants.
I'm going to cancel the interview.
Exactly. Mr. Blass, we've had enough
No,
of
we
you.
would never do that.
No.
We'll reprimand him on the air. Stick around.
The winners are in for the 2025 Best in Fayette contest presented by Nemacolin. You can pick up your free 2025-26 Best in Fayette book at the WMBS Broadcast House, the Uniontown Super 8, Casey Sports Cafe, the Uniontown Shop and Save, Perry Drug, Jackson Farms Dairy Store, Armstrong in Connellsville, the Casino at Nemacolin, Bittersweet Cafe, Neubauer's Market House, Uniontown Liquidation Outlet, and the River's Edge. See all the winners at bestinfayette.com.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Thursday is another CR Parada Group High School Sports Night here on WMBS. Draws for WPIL High School girls basketball action as the Guyba Lady Gators will host the West Green Pioneers. I'm Brian Morozak. Tony Hinola will join me to bring you all the exciting play-by-play action. Our Sprouse Insurance Group pregame show starts at 6:15 with the opening tip-off between the Pioneers and the Gators set for 7 o'clock. And you can watch a live video stream on the WMBS YouTube page. That's WPIL High School girls basketball action. West Green at Guyba Thursday at 7 here on WMBS.
Tune in to WMBS Saturday mornings at 8:20 for Your Financial Future with Gary Boatman, certified financial planner, investment advisory representative, syndicated columnist, and author, as he addresses such income issues as planning for retirement, future healthcare expenses, avoiding financial pitfalls, and much more. That's Your Financial Future with Gary Boatman, Saturday mornings at 8:20 right here on WMBS, where Gary Boatman welcomes your calls at 724-243-3075. That's 724-243-3075.
Hey, babe, what's in your eyes?
That's the Rolling Stones bringing us out of the break. Want to thank Bob Grove for joining us a moment ago talking about Penguin hockey. And, they're doing 1 point out of the playoffs right now with a brand-new coach. And
I don't think anyone expected that.
Goofy, 7-game losing streak, including a 5-game home losing streak, followed by a 5-game winning streak, followed by a 3-game losing streak.
Look at you.
Yeah, they're not...
you didn't even look at notes for that.
They need to score more goals.
I would think so.
Yeah, that's what it...
I think in baseball, you need to score more runs, hockey,
doubt.
more goals. I'm no sports expert. Maybe our next guest would know about this
No
stuff.
doubt. Joining us right now on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line, Pirate for Life, Steve Blass. Steve, we appreciate you leaving the golf course to join us. Did you have another round where you had 2 holes in one round? Or maybe that won't ever happen again?
That train has left the station. Age and stage. I just like to get out and hit the ball around and chase it around, and it's pretty nice down here right now. So it was an enjoyable afternoon with some good friends.
I saw something this past summer. All of a sudden, we heard 4 being screamed, and all of a sudden a ball came flying at us. We were on the green, and it went in the hole, except the guy was on a different hole. He actually put the ball in the hole on the green we were standing on, and because he sliced it so bad, it came into our air. I'm like, well, that's a first. It went in the hole. You just had the wrong
Yeah, well, I've got that shot. It never went in the hole, but I have that same shot. I could have got close.
That's right. I'm good at that too. The idea is to have fun. There's a buddy of mine who used to take 4 practice swings every time. I said, "You keep doing that, I'm not playing with you again, for crying out loud. We're not on the tour. Just hit the ball."
Yeah.
Well, you lost a good friend and a teammate just recently at age 86, Dave Justy, who I never thought got enough attention. First off, condolences for your loss of Dave. Definitely, he was described in the Associated Press as a reliable reliever over 15 years. Although he started with the Colt 45s. A lot of people probably forget that team ever existed.
It's a great name.
And he was, of course, he was a starter then. And then his best success came with the Buccos, and he had good success, did he not?
Yeah, he did. It was an interesting transition for him because he was a very legitimate starter for the Houston team, and then he went over to St. Louis for 1 year. But he came to us in spring training not really knowing what his role was going to be, and it just worked out. He evolved into a late inning guy. And he was one of the best in the National League for several years. And, I think the cornerstone, Dave had major league stuff. It wasn't, blow you away, dominant, exceptional stuff, but he had a great palm ball. And if you were going to beat Dave Justy, you had to do it because he was never going to beat himself. He was as mentally tough as maybe I saw anybody that went out there to get the last 3 outs of a ball game, which I still kind of think that might be the toughest job in baseball. And we had 3 great ones. We had Elroy, we had Ken Tucholey later on, but Dave Justy was as good as it gets in the late 60s, not the late 60s, but in the early 70s for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I don't know if we even go to the World Series in 1971 if it wasn't for Dave, because he was Fireman of the Year. And then in postseason play, 10 critical innings. He didn't pitch garbage innings. 10 critical innings. He did not give up a run.
Yeah,
that included the playoffs and the World Series. So, he was a friend, a teammate, a neighbor. Our families lived close together. We moved to a retirement community because he and Ginny were living there. That was the primary reason. But a great friend and. Just a personal aside, when I was going through my miseries in miserable 1973, Dave and I were roommates, and on the road he was there every night, and I don't know if anybody stood up taller to help me get through that miserable year than Dave. And, I was kind of the class clown, really, to be honest, and Dave was kind of the quiet, stable voice of reason. I don't know how we fit so well, but we did, and I will miss him. I'll miss his friendship. I'll miss what he did for the Pirates. You don't lose track of that kind of stuff. And Dave Justy is a good man who happened to be one hell of a good baseball player.
I mean, you define your character in sports, in most cases, by what you do off the field, like a Clemente, and the fact that he was there for you during a really tough time in your career. When you probably just needed to talk to somebody, like, what is going on? And you talked about that in your book, A Pirate for Life. Again, as I always mention, it's one of 2 books I've read 3 times in my life. Rocky Blyer's Fighting Back, I've read 3 times, and your book I've read 3 times. I read all the time.
Just sports books.
That book, I had a lot of fun doing that, and most of the stories in there are true.
Most?
No,
okay.
Yeah, it's better than a lot of memoirs.
Oh, yeah.
Some are completely made up, Steve.
Who was it that wrote an autobiography recently? Somebody complained about it. He said, I was misquoted. I don't know how you get misquoted in your own autobiography.
That's a great one. Yeah, that's
right.
He said, I was misquoted. But
right.
You talked about Dave throwing a palm ball.
Oh my God! Yeah.
How many people throw a palm ball? Jim Palmer, oddly enough, perfect name for that. That's the only other person I can think of who threw palm balls.
Well, he perfected it. I mean, he had that good enough stuff to work with it, and the bottom just fell out of it. It was very similar to the last part of the flight to the plate, leaving his hand, was similar to Elroy's forkball. The bottom just fell out of the pitch, and if you hit it, you're going to hit it on the ground. So that was another plus to what you're trying to deal with his batter there. You couldn't get under that ball. It was just going straight downstairs. The great quote, just to go away from David for a minute, but they asked Elroy Face, they said, what's the difference between your forkball and the split finger pitch. He said about $3 million a year.
That's great. That's funny.
I love when sports guys can laugh at themselves and talk about stuff like that. I once saw read an interview with the great Sam Snead, who lost the U.S. Open, the only major he didn't win, and he missed a 2-foot putt and lost it. And somebody asked him once, "Do you ever think about that?" He said, "Every day of my life."
Oh, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like I was winding up throwing. They said I threw a pitch at Three River Stadium that wound up in McKeesport, and nobody hit it. So, I mean, you have to do that. You have to keep a perspective because, professional sports at that level, you have to know how to win, and you have to know how to lose because you're not going to dominate every time. Nobody just runs the table completely. So you've got to be aware of that kind of stuff, and you've got to, and the best kind of humor is when you make fun of yourself. So that creates a comfortable atmosphere most of the time.
Nick Barczyk and Doug Saltzman speaking with World Series champion Steve Blass. And Steve, I could tell the affection you had for your friend Dave Justy, and obviously the great one Roberto Clemente, and everyone on those teams you played on. And just in general in your career, and in 71 specifically, how important are those relationships? I mean, we all often hear talent wins out, and talent, it's all about talent and great managing. But really, how important are those relationships in the locker room to a winning team or any team?
Winning creates a great chemistry. If you've got a losing team, you've got lousy chemistry.
Right.
And so we were winning in those years, and that was before people moved around a lot. So you knew each other, you knew the families, you know whose kids were going to school, or who might be sick, or what's going on. So when they talk about brothers, I don't know if that's used a little too much, but we were close. We knew each other well, and so it was great. I do have a favorite Dave Justy story that I can tell you. After we won the World Series in 71, we just ran the table in the division the next year. So we thoroughly expected we were just going to do it again. We had that much talent. In fact, Bill Verdon says the 72 Pirate team was better than the 71 team, only having gone through that experience. So at the end of the regular season, I had a dirt driveway where I was renting, and so I called this contractor buddy of mine. I said, "Listen, we're going to win this thing again. We're going to get a World Series check. So I'm going to contract you. I want you to put me in a concrete driveway. I always wanted a concrete driveway." So we set it up. So in the playoffs in '72, it's the fifth game, 2-2. So the deciding game. I left the game leading 3-2 in the seventh inning. Dave Justy came in the bottom of the ninth, 1-run lead. He threw a pitch to Johnny Bench, the pound ball. Bench hit it so hard that I saw it leaving the bat. I started running for the clubhouse and the phone. That ball went over the fence as I was telling my contract, cancel the concrete, we're going with asphalt.
That's great. That's tremendous.
but that it was we just had a very good ball club, but the connections were so good. We almost had equal parts, white, black, and Latino. And look at the figureheads at the end, at the top of Mazeroski, Clemente, Stargell, and it was a great mix. And there was actually a book written, "The Team That Changed Baseball." It was written by a guy that worked at the Hall of Fame, so that's out there too. So it was a great time to be a Pittsburgh Pirate. It was a great time to be a pro athlete. That decade of the '70s, I mean, we were winning. The Steelers were winning. Pitt won a national championship. The C. Miller brothers won the table tennis championship. I mean, it was a great time to be an athlete in Pittsburgh.
And I think the Pittsburgh Triangles won the professional tennis championship in the 70s. Maybe that was the 80s. I can't remember that.
Triangles, like the instrument you play in the
No,
school
they played
band?
tennis, but they were called the Triangles.
I get it.
They did have a team back then.
That's
Yvonne
awesome.
Goolagong was their team.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Doug.
Well,
Can't remember your daughter's names, but you remember
I can remember
that.
that. Yeah, I called my daughter by Charlie the other day, and that's a dog's name.
Oh,
I
that's
called my
nice.
daughter by the dog's name.
But to get back to David, he had just a terrible quality of life the last couple of years. So if you can think of his passing as a blessing in some way, I can look at that. But still, he's gone, and that kind of trumps everything. I just want to say a special thing about Dave's wife, Jenny. If there's a heaven, she's going to be there, because for the last 2 or 3 years, she wheeled him, or he was in a wheelchair 24/7. She fed him, she bathed him, and what a champion. You want to talk about champions. Jenny Justy is a champion, and it's going to be, a grieving period for sure, but David is not going to suffer anymore, and Jenny will be able to really reestablish herself as a prominent figure at Providence Point, where Karen and I and the Justies lived. And so life goes on, but when you have friends, close friends, I had a buddy, Tom Butters, who pitched briefly for the Pirates and became the athletic director at Duke, said, "You're going to have a lot of acquaintances, but if you can look back at your life and say you had 5 real strong friends, you're a fortunate person." And Dave Justy's on that list for me.
Yeah. Well, that's very nice for you to say that about Mrs. Justy. I know Dave leaves behind his wife and 2 daughters, 4 grandchildren. You talked about how close you were with them. Did baseball change from that standpoint, friendships, when the collective bargaining agreements allowed them not to have a roommate on the road back in the days? Yeah. Did that change a lot of things?
The game has really changed. I can get in a chapter reverse about the specific rules, but yeah, we had roomies. We didn't move around as much before. That was before free agency, or just as free agency was coming on board. So you didn't move around as much. So you went to spring training, and every year Clemente's going to be there, and all of a sudden he wasn't there. And but we knew each other thoroughly. We happened to be baseball players, but we were friends also. And think about losing Clemente. He dies on New Year's morning, and you grieve about that. And then there's a memorial down in Puerto Rico. You grieve about that. And then there's opening day of spring training. He's not there for the first time. Opening day of the season, he's not there. And Maz retires, and Willie retires, and then we've lost a lot of those guys. And I look back of the championship team and think about, not just the players, Danny Murtaugh, Frank Osiak, Don Osborne. Those are guys they said we are family in '79, and I respect that. But we were a pretty strong family in '71 and '72 also.
Yeah. Again, joining us here on the Afternoon Drive Show, the one, the only Steve Blass, Pirate for Life. Steve, thanks so much. Again, please accept our condolences, the loss of your friend, your neighbor, Dave Justy. And it's so nice of you to say those things about Mrs. Justy. Yeah, you become a caretaker, and now she can move on. And I'm sure she's has wonderful memories of Dave.
And she's got great friends where she is, too.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Steve. You have a good evening.
Well, I always enjoy the visit, guys. Nick and Doug, thanks so much for having me on with you. Appreciate it.
We'll
Thanks,
talk
Dave.
to you when training comes around.
It'll be here before you know it.
That's right.
Okay.
Paul Skeens and the Bucks ready to go.
Yeah, take care, fellas.
Thanks, buddy.
All righty.
We
What a
just talked to
great guy.
Steve Blass.
Yes, we did. We
How
just
cool
talked to
is
Steve Blass, and he seemed to enjoy it.
That's exactly. We've had Rocky Blyer on, Steve Blass, these legends, both on and off the field, and wow, what an honor.
Rocky's going to join us next week to talk about the Steelers.
Oh, wow. I'm sure he has thoughts on Tomlin and the Steelers, and the new coach. Can Rocky be the new coach? That'd be cool.
Yeah, Rocky was with the Steelers before Noel.
That's right. Who was that, Buddy Bell, Walt Kiesling?
I don't know.
Who knows? We'll ask him.
Yeah, we'll ask him about those. Yeah, he was the rare Steeler who went through 3-4 coaches, maybe.
That's amazing.
In his career. We'll talk to him next week. But first, this is the Afternoon Drive Show on WMBS.
Chris Parker Jr., it's a new year and a great time to save at Autoland on a new Hyundai.
All with the quality that lets Hyundai offer America's best warranty. Hyundai owner assurance with 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain protection. 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper protection, and unlimited roadside assistance. We still have a great selection of new vehicles at pre-tariff prices and 0% financing. Or how about leasing a 26 Elantra SE for $199 per month, or a 26 Kona SE crossover for $219 per month? Just see us for details.
Conveniently located in downtown Uniontown and family-owned for over 60 years, Autoland Hyundai has been voted best in Fayette import dealership and one of the best new car dealerships. Another reason is dealing with friendly hometown salespeople, and the third reason is Autoland's award-winning service department, who will continue to take care of you and your Hyundai after the sale.
You can also visit us at AutolandHyundai.com. And remember, you always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
439-2323. For 24-hour emergency service, call us when you need. We're Fayette's Heating and Air Conditioning, your service company.
Be prepared for bone-chilling winter weather. Have Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning install a Bryant high-efficiency furnace in your home to replace that old worn-out system you now have. Choose Bryant's Plus 90 gas furnace or other quality heating system to keep yourself and your family warm and toasty this winter. Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning will also keep your present furnace running at peak efficiency with their 15-point safety check and cleaning. Call Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning today for your appointment. 724-439-2323. That's Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning, your Bryant dealer, Route 119 north of Uniontown, located near Laurel Mall.
Call Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning, 439-2323, 439-2323, 439-2323, 439-2323.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.
That's Jethro Tull, who should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know, I say this every time we mention Hall of Fame. It's been a while since we've had somebody on from the Hall. Maybe we'll work on that for next week. I want to thank Steve Blast, Bob Grove for joining us on this last hour. Great interviews with them. Thanks to them, not us. That's a wrap for the Afternoon Drive Show. A longer version here. I'll be with you next week. A short show Tuesday, long show Wednesday on your local station, WMBS Uniontown. I'm Doug. That's Nick. Pitt basketball is next.
Game, if he gets in foul trouble early, for obvious reasons, they have to play a little different defense. They have to. Weak side help is so important when he's not in the ball game because he cleans up the backboard when he's in the game. But Bill, when you think